Hello, beautiful people. I know that you saw the title of this video, and I don't care who I piss off. If I do. But I was told that after I made my Motherpiece video, in that video, I kind of go, through the controversy and debating on whether or not to keep using it and things like that. I have actually worked with this deck for many, many years on, I guess, touching on my own body love, my own self-love. This was the only deck that had people of what seemed like all skin colors and body types. And as a plus size person, it really awoke something inside of me when I first got it that I needed. And I have built a very powerful relationship with it. And recently, Queen Auset, I'll leave her channel link below, she had commented on that video and was like, well, look, basically telling me that the people of color that were using this deck as well, because they saw themselves represented in this deck, finally, right? That they don't have the privilege that I would to redraw the cards. Now, I want to kind of give a disclaimer here at the beginning of this video that while saying redraw the cards, I meant for the creators to. The creators needed to redraw those two cards and go off of what their premise of the whole deck was supposed to be visions, and it was supposed to be visions that they were having for these specific cards, and that's not what happened with those two problematic cards. And anyway, once she had came out and said that to me, I thought, okay, well, I have actually been using this deck in terms of my own, still using it for self-love, still using it for my body image practice that I have. And then she said that the people of color, and I don't know if she's speaking from her own experience or if she knows if other people of color also use, but she mentioned this book. She mentioned this is the book that was written by a black person, a black woman, that spoke on the sacred woman and that spoke on what this deck is about. And it's about these women of Africa, right? And these archetypes from Africa and the archetypes of the tarot. I mean, look at this image right here. That's powerful, right? This is powerful shit inside this deck. And I do feel like this deck is powerful. This is my favorite sun card of all time. Just because I see myself and I see my neighbor. And it just looks like a giant slumber summer party kind of a thing happening here. Like a block party, if you're familiar with what that is. And I just always resonated with the images here. But then when Queen Auset said that, instead of using the guidebook that the creators of this deck came up with, she mentioned using this book, right? So I happened, a few days after she commented on that video and said that, I went to the bookstore and happened to be, of course, people like me, we gravitate towards what they call the New Age section in the Barnes & Noble, right? Or in any bookstore. And this happened to be sitting on the shelf faced towards me. Never seen it before in the occult section before, or in the New Age section, to be more specific. And I thought, man, that's a fucking sign. So I bought it. I flipped through it. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been reading it. Now, this is from a black woman. This is written by a black woman. And I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Queen Afua. Please let me know if that's not correct. But A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit. Already, that hit me really, really hard. There was just something beautiful about looking at this cover, okay, of this beautiful black woman here and her beautiful dreads looking like the black Medusa, from Africa. And when I started reading it, and I'll flip through it in a minute, it resonated with me as someone who is going to now look at this deck different, who is going to see these images and see the women that are in this book, see the recipes that are in this book. And it is written from the Black perspective. So, but I'm not really sure if some of these things are like catered more towards the Black woman, and if our bodies are different in that kind of a way. But reading this, I started using this deck specifically while reading this book, because there's so much information in this book about, basically it's how to start a practice and how to surround yourself with like actual healing. This isn't just like some, bullshit 200-page book that you get from the store on healing your body, right? And there is just basically surface level shit. Okay, no, this is, I could build if I was gonna have a practice, an African practice, and I'll go more into what that is inside the book. If I had an African practice, I could build one with this book, this one book. So, and it's calling me because I can hear the voices in this deck. It's almost like I've been using my own voice and I've been shouting over the top of these people for all these years, and I've been using it. This is also one of like my favorite images of all time, like just this sacred work, And I think of this, I've also used this in my ancestor practice, and what they may have been doing with their hands. If we think back just hundreds of years ago, these women were washing clothes on rocks, okay? Stuff like that. I use it to see what my ancestors are up to. But guess what? While I may still be able to do that and put my own lens and my own ancestor work on top of this deck, there are still voices inside this deck that I haven't been listening to. And I'm hearing them through this text. And now I know that since this deck has come out, there have been many more decks that have people of color in them that you probably like better by Black people or people of color or indigenous people. I mean, oh my God, look at this image. This reminds me of the time I gave birth and how I didn't have any medicine and how enlightening and shamanic that experience is. But anyway, I'm gonna put this deck up for a second. I want to flip through this because I just wanted to show you how enlightening this was and how powerful the experiences I've had with this book have been with the Motherpiece. And I think that as this book was written by a Black woman, it's almost like this book was written with this deck in mind. It's almost like this book was written because they, if this person used the tarot, it's like I need to be represented. I need my voice to be heard. Here's a practice. Here's parts of my practice. Here's parts of my soul. I want to share it with you. I want to help other Black women build a practice from, this person's ancestors. And I'm looking at the contents now, and she goes on the Kemetic Nubian philosophy. I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm still learning, folks. The sacred womb, the spirit of the womb, care of the womb. And I'm talking, this person gets in depth, okay? You are going to be shot in a mirror down there. Sacred food, sacred words, affirmations, just all kinds of things. Now I highlighted this because I just thought that this was so beautiful. It says the spelling of Africa literally means flesh, which is Af, soul, which is Ka, and hidden sun, which is Ra. So, flesh, soul, and sun. How beautiful is that? It says the Kemetic people are the spiritual heads, teachers, motivators, and guides of the planet ordained by NTR, the one most high creator. So this is just like a look into this person's spiritual practice, an actual spiritual practice. And I mean, history, literal history, okay? Then they go into womb wisdom, how to set up an altar for this spirituality, herbal tonics. Look, there's so much, I mean, so much information. Look at this. Color and stonework, flower essences. Flower essences is something that I do too because I grow my own herbs and flowers on my property. And there's, it's kind of like a ritual that I do in the spring when some of my stuff starts to bloom out, is to gain the flower essence, see how the flower is feeling, things like that. Herbal tonics, diet and movement, journal writing, in the arms of the sky mother. This, I highlighted this because it reminded me of my Thoth deck, which if you're familiar with my channel at all, the Thoth has a heavy emphasis on Egyptian culture and how Nuit, the sky goddess, it like folds over the sky, right? Their sacred body drapes over the sky like a sacred blanket. And it immediately made me think of my trusty Thoth deck. So I highlighted that and wanted to read this, later on. But I was basically looking at all the sacred pictures. And look at this beautiful picture here of these sacred women in circle. Journal questions. Folks, I'm telling you, even as a white person, okay, and as someone who really wants to learn and to be respectful, it's so enlightening to read someone's story. I think that I cry a river of tears that heal. This reminds me of another conversation I've had with Queen Auset about white tears, black scars. That sacred text about, yeah, we may be crying, but we're not the ones getting scarred here. Oh, see, look. I cry a river of tears that heal for what is known as female genital mutilation, female castration, which is exactly what this, one of the problems in the Motherpiece was a picture of that ceremony of FGM. Holy shit. Anyway, I probably read that and, I've felt so overwhelmed the last couple of weeks reading this. Look at this. Mayat feather meditation. Oh my goddess. Look, charts for you to clock your cycles, clock your sexual health, menstrual health. I mean, we all need to be clocking our cycles in one form or the other. Even if you don't menstruate, there's so much power in cycles. There's so much. I know my mother, just to give you a little, I guess, personal experience from me. I have a menstrual cycle, but my mother happened to have an emergency hysterectomy when she was in her 20s, when my sister and I were really, really young, and she didn't menstruate anymore. And she told me once that it took her forever, years and years, to find out that her body was still in sync with like a cycle. Like once a month she would get like PMS and stuff like that. And I thought that was so profound because you wouldn't think that was what was going on, She just was still getting cravings and still getting tired. And she would have bouts of cycles even when she didn't menstruate. And I feel like even if you don't menstruate or don't have female genitalia, even if that's the case, whatever the case is, we all go through cycles. And I think that it's necessary for us to clock our cycles to know when we're most tired in the month, and to voice that and not be afraid to voice those things, like, look, I'm really tired. I've been really tired. I need some space. I need some time to nap, Tell one of your friends, look, I really need you to like bring me a care package. Like I could really use that. Hopefully you've got some people in your life that can like already tell that about you. Like my husband, he knows that when I get real bitchy, he knows to bring home some kind of chocolate. And it always makes me feel better. I may not eat it, right away. I may put it in like my emergency drawer or something. But just the fact that he knew and thought about me is a beautiful thing, to have that type of a, I don't know, relationship with people. Anyway, so breast health, baths, detoxification, like clay packs. Again, I don't know if some of these recipes could go to everyone, or if this is like, I mean, I know that a sacred tea to make milk flow is only when you need to have milk flowing, folks, okay? Like, I mean, I get that, but color breathing. Oh my God. There's things in here, okay? Let me back up a second. There's things in here. Oils and incense, stones, guardian. There's things in here for that I have been journaling about, okay? There's this sacred journal that I have. It's red, that I use for like journaling that I do that's specific to body, like love, menstruation, stuff like that. There's a journal that I have specifically for that. I've been using the hell out of that journal with this book. I can still hold this woman's experience in my soul and journal about my own health. And I've never had that before. I've never had such openness with my own body. Even when using this deck and trying to use the fucking guidebook that came with this damn deck. Look at this. This 9 gateways of this particular philosophy. There's 9 gateways that you need to be passing through as far as like spiritual enlightenment, right? Herbs, foods, words, power words. Like, whoa, that's crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to look at this beautiful image right here. I don't know why, but this reminds me of Kim from Abundant Life Tarot. It's just, I don't know, it just looks like her to me. That's crazy how it made me think of her. Look, journal entry for sacred words by Raw Goddess. Sacred words manifest in the silence. Daughters of divinity chant the libations of surrender as the creator channels forth universal truth. Universal truth. Sacred words live in the spirit, the essence of self, which journeys from the land to land, gathering pearls of wisdom and healing along the way. I don't know why I can't say that word today. Sacred words dance in the temple of the goddess, surrounding raw-filled auras with infinite blessings, guiding purposeful steps that build upon destiny's path. Sacred words bear the seeds of organic fruit, nourishing weary souls with the nectar of upliftment, filling empty vessels with love, abundance, and joy. Sacred words play upon the lips of sacred women and hold the potency of ancestral ways with enough mystical magic to heal the world. Sacred words unfold in courage, speaking the unspeakable with clarity, vision, and purpose, sending messages to honor and protection. Sacred words rest in the heart and awaken to the joyful sounds of promise, radiating light channeled from above. Wow. And look at these. I love these images that they've generated in this, like these computer generated images that look to be like sacred old hieroglyph kind of things. Like they've clip arted some of the old hieroglyph and some of the old frescoes from Egypt. I think that that's just a beautiful thing and that they've added to this book. More altar work, sacred foods, altar work, spirit prayers. Look at this. I just love the actual photos in this book. This is insane. And, you know, it's like when I'm going back and forth here, but seeing these images, like seeing this sacred woman right here with the cauldron, consciously pick out the card, right? That would best depict that. Look at that. She's cauldron right here by the, what is it, waterfall? I should have picked this out. I mean, I was going to just do an organic chat for you guys right now, but I really just wanted to talk about what all I've been doing with this deck. And it's kind of like an extension of my last video with this and how I've been using it and how eye-opening it has been to use this specific book, like really with this, and how crazy my experiences have been and how profound. Well, I feel like there should have been a lady with a cauldron in this damn deck. But, oh, here it is. This shaman card. The Shaman of Cups. Sacred fish and shells and seaweed. The kelp. There's something in this book also about kelp, health, and using kelp in like sacred salads and things. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. Using the deck for conscious pulls, using some of the journal prompts and so like mixing a spread around it. Sunflower couscous delight. Oh my goodness. Some of this looks delicious. Sacred women. Some sacred woman prayer. A chant. Fire breaths. Opening the gateways. I love that. And as a dancer, it just looks so beautiful. There's so many rituals, right, surrounding this, inside this beautiful text here. I'm having such a profound experience working just with the photos, you know? Loving these women that are demonstrating these. Written for my mother, performed for my father. Wow, that's crazy. That's great. Anyway, using some of the chants, researching some of the recipes. Classical African Nile Valley ware. Wow, that's good too. You know, knowing that the actual history behind some of this, that's what it's all about. You know, that's what we need when working with decks like this. It's like now, like working with the other decks that I have, like the Hoodoo Tarot. Tiana McQuiller, she wrote that guidebook, but that's her actual spiritual practice. So there's actual things in that guidebook with that tarot deck that are prevalent to her practice, and it's about listening and it's about her sharing her story and listening. I know that a few months ago, Tom Benjamin, he spoke to the difference between hearing and listening, and I believe that. More altar work. Some of these, I mean, the photos in here are just insanely good. This deck was supposed to be mainly for the woman, right? From all walks of life. But mainly there was a big emphasis, according to the guidebook, on the African traditions. I had believed, you know, since working with this deck, that that's what this was. And how having this book in my possession has awakened a new branch of a relationship that I've had with this deck, if that makes sense. And if you're interested, I will leave the Amazon link. I think you can still get this on Amazon. I'll leave a link to wherever you can buy this down in the resource section. I'll leave Queen Auset's channel. Go check her out. Check out the summits that I was honored to be a part of. The second one. The first one is up on her page. Go check out the summits where people of the tarot community are talking about diversity and diversifying actual tarot decks, you know, and being real and having the real dialogue with the community, and being part of the community is about that, about listening and sharing, and I want to continue to do that. So if the Motherpiece is a deck that you've been working with, or that you have worked with, or that you've kind of been too scared to use, you know, something kind of like that, you know, like you just put it on a shelf, use it. And I've been using this book to kind of sit with certain things that don't relate to me. Like when I pull a card and I read something and it's to the Black woman specifically, I'll sit with that. Sit with that a little bit and see how that makes me feel, and use it to grow, use it to learn, use it to expand, right? So I want to thank Queen Auset for telling me about this book. And I hope to learn more as I dive more into the book. So, again, Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit by Queen Afua. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Okay, don't forget, feel free to let me know what you think about this, and I'm wishing everyone much love. Hope to see everyone again.